Edward Snowden has been formally charged with espionage, and the Obama administration, as expected, is now formally moving to have him extradited from Hong Kong, where he's currently evading our government. So first, the details on what he's actually being charged with. The United States charged Snowden with theft of government property, unauthorized communication of national defense information, and willful communication of classified communications intelligence to an unauthorized person. And they are also saying that they now want Hong Kong to send him back to the United States for him to be tried for these charges. So we've got statements from both a senior Obama administration official who is speaking on condition of anonymity, and also Tom Donilon, U.S. National Security Advisor. So first, the anonymous source says, "If Hong Kong doesn't act soon, it will complicate our bilateral relations and raise questions about Hong Kong's commitment to the rule of law." As I said, the U.S. National Security Advisor says, "Hong Kong has been a historically good partner of the United States in law enforcement matters, and we expect them to comply with the treaty in this case." Now, I suppose for those of you who have been following Edward Snowden from day one, this is not really going to come as a shock to us. We expected that at some point he would be tried. The exact nature of the charges, I don't know if any of us would have known at that point what they could have possibly been, but they're here, and we had been expecting this entire time that at some point the U.S. government is going to try to get Edward Snowden from Hong Kong back stateside. And so that's now happening. So this is all happening Saturday. The Obama administration is talking about this. Now, Obama himself is not currently talking about it. He's got climate change on his mind. The big climate change speech is coming up. But I am going to make a prediction. I do think that eventually Hong Kong will extradite Edward Snowden to the U.S. government. As these government sources said, Hong Kong does have a pretty close relationship with the U.S. government. They have been amenable to helping us out when we've needed it in the past. So I think that in this case, they probably will do that. I don't think that they have much vested interest in protecting Edward Snowden. I think that perhaps if there were no cost to it, they'd let him stay there. But at this point, I think that the U.S. government is ready to place significant pressure on Hong Kong to get Edward Snowden. And so I think that he will be extradited here. He will be tried. Now, exactly what will happen to him? If recent history is any indication, it's probably not going to be very good for him. Now, what I think could possibly influence what happens is public opinion. That's what I've been saying since day one. How people respond to this entire NSA data mining and wiretapping scandal, whether or not they support Edward Snowden and make it clear in surveys that they do, I think that will actually affect the U.S. government's actions. Now, unfortunately for Edward Snowden and for those of us who want the NSA programs to be shut down, the average American up until this point hasn't really seemed to care. And when polled, if they know what's going on at all, and if they even have an opinion, it tends to be that they like these programs. And we've seen that more people approve of them than disapprove of them. Now, this was also the case about 8 years ago when similar policies were being talked about, but the number has actually grown over time. And there seems to be support for these policies on both sides of the aisle. Both in terms of the politicians, but also in terms of the average Americans. And that is unfortunate. Now, I'm going to say one additional thing, and this may be controversial. While I do not believe that Edward Snowden is in any way a traitor, and I believe that being willing to reveal this information, of what we know of him so far, I'll just say that in case he reveals something that actually does hurt America in the future, I do think that he's a hero. Now, that does not mean that I don't think he should be tried for what he did, and it does not mean that I don't think he should possibly go to jail for what he did. Being a hero and acting legally are not the same thing. In fact, if what you were doing was entirely legal and perhaps easy in some sense to do, it doesn't really make you a hero to do it. Now, I think he is a hero. I'm extremely glad that he revealed this information because it is at the very least starting a dialogue, but that does not mean that if he broke U.S. law, he should not be tried. I think that sometimes doing what's right means possibly paying the consequences. Now, I think that we should look into changing, perhaps, the consequences. I think that we should be more willing to have these very important whistleblowers reveal information about the government when it's acting in what seems to be an incredibly unconstitutional manner. But as it stands right now, they are charging him with these laws. We will see in the next couple of weeks. Will Hong Kong buckle under U.S. pressure to extradite Edward Snowden? We don't know. At this time, though, I am going on record predicting that I think he will be sent back to the USA.